gardening friends to a very blustery day. It's the 1st of March and I've been bringing some of my sieve compost from out of the polytunnel. I'll drop a card in somewhere of how I sieved all this in a playlist. But now I'm going to be growing tomatoes, cucumbers in there, not so much carrots. Then this is going to save me a bit of time, and I'll show you shortly what material I've been using from the old parsnip and the old carrot beds. And if you remember, all my giant vegetables were grown in either the blue barrels or the grey barrels, and they were loaded with manure. Well, that material's gone towards the bottom. There's absolutely loads of worms in it. So let's have a look around the March jobs and see what we managed to do in February. So right in front of us there are the compost bins, and on top of the bins there are some of the old pallet collars. We'll get to see those and the condition they're in when I do my video on the parsnip and carrot boxes, how I build them and how I prepare them for those vegetables. As you can see to the left, we've got 2 more carrot boxes in, and the other 2 at the far end are already filled. I've topped them off, and bar gum, it's been a challenge to get the ones on the left and to the right level, because we're 4 pallet boxes high, so you have to start at the bottom and work up. 4 beds at the far side we've probably already seen, and we've already now got those 2 in. Managed to get those done on Saturday the 29th, and where the wheelbarrow is will be the next lot of smaller beds. Now they're only going to be a single, or they were only going to be a single scaffold board high at the front, 2 at the back, sloped down so there could be coal frames. We're on debating now whether to build them too high, 3 at the back, because it'll limit the bending down, and the slugs have got further to crawl up the beds. And we've got the remaining material up there on that side for the last couple of beds. I'll get this bed in here, and then the 4th bed may have to wait if I have to use those planks to make those square foot gardening beds a little bit bigger. And you can see over the far side we've got the onions in. We'll have a look at those closely shortly. So I'll take you off the tripod now and we'll have a little look around. Sorry for if we're blowing you about, but the wind is very strong, very gusty. Now this is the material that came out of the parsnip box towards the top, so it's free from any manure. So that there has gone into those layers. Out of the polytunnel is about there, and then we top it off with very clean compost that we find on the side of the road. That's from the polytunnel, so we're going to about that level. Then out of the containers that were full of manure went into here. So basically, I'll show you on that. We're round about there on that. Manure is there, and then ordinary soil that we've been digging out from bed 3 has gone in the bottom, and it looks like I'm going to have lots and lots of soil spare. So I've been having a little bit of a rethink of how I use this up without having to move it about too much. So I had to do a little bit of tinkering with this, but you put that post there. But as you can probably see, we've got a reasonably decent straight line there, and going down we're not far off level, so hopefully it will be pleasing to the eye. And unfortunately the Jerusalem artichoke bed, permanent bed, has got to be moved. Now with pallet collars, as you can see, they're very difficult to line up. They're all misshapen and bashed. but that's what you get with pallet collars. I'm sure I won't mind that, as long as we can produce nice carrots and nice parsnips at the end of it. So another container here, and you just might be able to see the yellow in there of the old manure. It's just slightly tacky, but the worms have done an excellent job. This material has been sieved, but there is traces of manure in there. I did find some earlier. It's just there, and if the carrots get hold of that, then they'll start forking. And we've got another 1 ton bag there. So like I say, because of the depth, we've had to dig out so that we can get the wood chips in like this. That's a base layer, but it's been nice to be able to walk on it. So overall, I'm pleased with that, and we'll be updating you with how we actually set these out. Not so much fill them up, because you've already seen that, but then how I prepare them. I'm going to prepare them earlier this time, so all that dry cocoa coir that we put down the holes gets a chance to dry, to soak up the moisture. So here we have 2 of the Peter Glazebrook giant onions, the ones that didn't make the cut. These are some onions that have been given from a fellow plot holder. He's grown those from sets. Phil, one of my subscribers, viewers, there is the Alsay onions. We didn't get many germinate, so we're going to take our chances outside with these. Again, these are the Peter Glazebrook giant onions. They'll make for good eating. And there is Pete's Kelsay onions. We'll see how they do, but they're a lovely onion to eat. As we move down to the permanent bean bed, these are the underground worm farms. The lids are now on. Slugs have made their way in, so a good way of collecting the slugs. They'll go in there. So I'm not sure yet whether we'll have had any worms in here. Oh, here they are. So they're populating this now, and they'll get to work. Keep them happy. Let's just keep them all the same. So that's it. I'm pleased with that. It's only been a couple of weeks. I'll just wipe my finger before I touch the screen. So hopefully in March, jobs for March, get that other bed in. These are the 2 pallet collars in. The Jerusalem artichokes moved, don't know where yet, but they'll get moved. I do really need to get this plastic in place, so the plastic's there, just needs sorting, and underneath all that other rubbish are the slabs which my plot old neighbour would like. And this is the manure runoff from the original manure runoff, the one I made up with this plastic, but the IBCs are a lot better. My broad beans are faring well. 1 or 2 flowers appearing now, but Alan from the Dawn Chorus plot, his broad beans are absolutely brilliant. Pop across and have a look at his broad beans, and he didn't give us any protection, so maybe I'm gone over the top. Hashtag overwintering potato challenge. There's the sack. It's been out in the open. Haven't managed to keep the cardboard on it very often, just to keep some of the water out, so hopefully the potato hasn't gone rotten. These barrels, these are the other barrels, not the blue ones. I'm going to cut them about there, and these will keep the giant cabbages leaves off the ground, and we'll put a pipe in to feed directly to the roots. So that's my intentions on my father's allotment, and here if I've got some spares. So these are the William Coleman's red Russian garlic. he wanted to know how they would do here in the UK. And we've got my saved garlic, the Elephant. We had one failure there. This row here are the rounds, the ones that didn't split last year, and then these are the leek pips, and any stations that are missing, we'll use the rest of the pips from the seed head to fill those gaps. I really do need to move the potato spent compost into the compost bin, but it's got all those pallet collars on, so I'm getting a little bit lazy. It is a job I can do in the wet. Just bagging up now the remaining bags from the compost fines that people don't want. They can go now. This is where I've been taking the soil from. There's some of the black bags that I find the compost in. I try and reuse everything as many times as I can. And that's a blackbird just popped out. He's happy. So there we are. We're taking some of those out. What I should be doing is I'm taking that out so I can bring the other soil in, so I can make myself a little bit more room. One of my fellow plot holders, subscribers, has bought me some more of those, ready for my square foot gardening and the other jobs. And he's also bought me a few more the pallet collars. And I'm going to be doing the guttering system similar to Carl, who was originally Nitrogen Fix No Dig, and Alan from the Dawn Chorus plot, where they put wicks into the pots, into guttering or some sort of containers. That'll be coming up later on in the month. And these are the raspberry canes. They've dried out nicely now. A little bit of mould on them, but they've not gone rotten as I perhaps thought they would do. So I just wanted to show you, these are the telepathy cucumbers, the ones I sliced up and put in the pot. End of March I'll be taking a scoop out of those and seeing if they end up germinating. Yeah, these are the square pots. They're 17 litres and they're going in the greenhouse. So this I've managed to, it's a funny shaped guttering, but it doesn't matter. But this will be connected to one of the barrels. That connection fits perfectly on some, remember that truck find we had, where the truck was full of laden with materials that we took? That white pipe fits perfectly for that. So basically, as the plants use the water, the float will drop down and refill the guttering. So hopefully that will work, and that will be situated somewhere in here. But yeah, we've got to get that cleared out, guys. The grape will stay and the pomegranate will stay in the corner. We'll have to just work around that. And on a previous video I did show you the 2 new logs I got from Storm Dennis. I'll put them in there. So this little area, including the rest in the wildflower wildlife garden, should help keep all those beneficial creatures really happy. 2 bags of leaves left, and they're the other 2 are in there, so at least I got one of my February jobs done. It's been awful, but never mind, it's winter. It is what we should be expecting. So we're in the compost runoff bin, and I'm just started to migrate the worms now, because this here will be used in my compost mixes. So hopefully now all this side's gone into that second raised bed, permanent bed for the beans. I'm going to try and migrate the worms. I'll always save some anyway to repopulate it once we get going again in the spring summer. These plastic sheets I found do cut quite easily with the scissors, so For those that haven't seen this before, they will go on top of my manure runoff bins, because at the moment the rain's getting in and I'm getting far too much liquid. It's not liquid that I can store because it's already been watered down. I would prefer the concentrate. And some of the rhubarb, as expected at this time of the year, will be showing through. We've got the pallets. I've cut those down, and these will be the sacrificial boards running along the bottom of the new raised beds, and we'll be putting some washers in between so we've got airflow. Hopefully that'll work. I've just got to de-nail those, but that's a job I was doing when the ground was absolutely saturated. Well, remember that compost that run all the way down to there, so you can actually see how much material actually goes into those raised beds. And this is what's been going in these beds. I've kept them all the same, even though the soil, I've got too much soil, so we start at the bottom and work up. So thanks very much for watching, commenting, subscribing. My tablet is up and running again. Didn't cost anything. We just had to completely revamp, just shut everything down and reinstall everything, and it seems to be working okay. My other upload has gone up, which you hopefully would have seen on Sunday. Happy gardening to you all. Please remember, like, comment and consider subscribing. Look at the comments, join in with the comments, and we'll catch you next time. Ta-ra for now. Damn pigeons.